Welcome to the doghouse. Hope you're all having a great day today. I am as usual. This is going to be talking about Charlie Kirk again. The only reason I'm doing this a lot is it bothers me as to what happened. But in reality, Charlie Kirk has gotten his revenge. No, I'm greedy like everybody else. We want him here, not where he's at. I know for a fact in my heart Charlie Kirk is walking with God. He has gone to the next phase in his life, which is the final phase if you believe in God. Now, why am I greedy and want him here? He was a good man, he was a good father, he was a good husband. I ain't saying this stuff as left or right because we all have our opinions. This has to do with what happened, not what necessarily your views are left or right. Yes, there was some things he said that I would disagree with. There's things he said, more things he said that I would agree with. But I was one that didn't watch him 24/7, or I did clips. I'd watch a lot of his college stuff and some of the other things I'd watch, but it wasn't an everyday thing. But I knew who he was, and I was interested in his philosophy. You don't have to listen to somebody constantly to get that. But if he was here, he was close. I mean, Idaho ain't that far away from Utah, but if he was in this town, I would have went and seen him. But I wouldn't go out to see him like a lot of people do, which is good for them. And you know what's good? He is one of the few people that can get younger people involved. Some loved him, some hated him. But he could get the younger crowd to interact with him. Some of the older too, but nobody has been able to get the attention and reaction, good and bad, from the younger generation. But he was only 31, but he got them, a lot of them, not all of them, to relate to him. Even if they didn't speak or debate him, they would listen. And you cannot get younger people a lot of times to listen. And we've all been there, by the way. We're all stubborn when that age and we know everything, including myself. But this guy went out there and he could do things that no other person could do. He got people to interact with one another. And that's something, whether you hated him or loved him, that he was very good at doing and accomplished. He very much knew what to say and how to say it and when. And it worked. This guy should still be with us. God has other plans for him, but he should still be with us. And for these people, here's the thing I not get a laugh at, but I shake my head at. Now, anybody, look at me. Anybody can look the way they want and how they want. But all them out there that think it's funny what happened to him, take a good look at their appearance and what they're about. The majority of them are very scary in the fact, and like I said, I don't care how somebody looks, but when you get that big a group of people that are hating, just take a look. I won't get into it, but take a look at what's following that. Are that really America representing America, the ones that are happy of that, take a look at them. No, there's some people that disliked him, and I understand why. Not everybody's going to like everybody, but they didn't go out and do what this punk ass kid did. And who knows what his intentions were. I mean, I won't, until it's all said and done, I won't even speculate why he did it, other than he obviously didn't like Charlie Kirk. All the other stuff, rumors are spreading around like crazy of what he was with and who he was with. That will come out. And I'm not saying this has happened, but it did hinder it. When that took place, that guy got in the cop's face and everything else, and they had to take care of him. That gave the guy that did it a chance to escape, because they was working on this guy, and off the other one goes. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's intentional, but that is what happened. That was the result. And a couple of things that happened there that I've seen, and you can't go everything you see, but there was somebody with a camera commented a guy on the roof. Why didn't that person notify everybody? They would have cleared that out until they found out if that was okay or not, that person up there. But getting that camera of somebody on the roof, and I don't think that there was nothing wrong with him saying, oh, there was a guy up on the roof. Don't get me wrong. But because he didn't report it, there was a problem. It's not his fault. Maybe I would have done the same thing. Wow, look at that guy up there. But after what happened to Trump, I probably wouldn't. Before that, I probably might have. But you see that guy up on the roof, and if you equate what happened, you'd be hollering, a person's on the roof, a person's on the roof. And they would have cleared it out. Like I said, that picture I seen, if it was authentic and that, he did nothing wrong. It's if you went the other way, it could have had a different story. The guy that was causing a ruckus when after what happened, I'm not saying he was in the wrong or anything else, but cause and effect. Because of that, the effect was it made it easier for this guy to get away. But remember, in the end, Charlie Kirk has gotten revenge on all of them. It may not look like that right now, and this isn't putting anybody down. I wish he was here for his wife and his children, bar none. That to me is the most important. Him not being here is them. Forget the politics, forget anything else. They loved each other. Them kids loved their dad, and they no longer have him here, but he still has got the revenge. Why? He's walking with God, for one thing. He has brought out more of the hate that exists in our country. People see it. People that don't even like him see it. Only that few assholes out there that think it's funny is wrong. All the rest are sticking together. And really, this is a point, especially the younger people. A lot of the younger people have come together because of this. They're unified for the most part. You're always going to have them, even in Congress, that are jackasses. See, there was a guy at the FBI said ignorant stuff about Kirk. Out. NFL had a guy bragging about Kirk, what happened. Out. There's been people on TikTok that knew or found out where people were that was thought this was okay, have reported them to their employers. Out. So the people are coming together and seeing what is wrong. That's what I mean. This is Charlie Kirk's revenge because the people are standing up together against wrong. When you got people that don't even really care for the guy or disagreed with him 100%, willing to stand for what happened as wrong. And this is a good thing. And like I said a little earlier, look at the people out there making fun of him passing. Just in your mind, go out there and look. And you'll see a pattern forming. Not only hate, other things too. See, Charlie, he didn't care who you were. He would, if you agreed or didn't disagree with him, he was out there doing his thing. His wife knew what he was doing. His relatives knew what he was doing. And he didn't deserve what he got. But in the end, he did get his revenge and is getting his revenge. That person's in jail now. And he will get the same thing Charlie Kirk got. Because of the laws in Utah and what the federal laws are. Now, do I think this guy, and I mean, here's where I have a disagreement with the news people or the governor and that he acted alone. He didn't act alone. No 22-year-old is going to have that all figured out. Let's start with getting on the roof. Most places, because of insurance purposes, if you don't work there or they don't know you're going up, you don't get up on there. And there was cameras there. Obviously, some might not have been great cameras, but there was cameras there. You do not let people on your property's roof, even though it's a college, because of the liability factor. Most places there's some mechanism that would go into place before you go up on that roof. So he knew where exactly to go. That means somebody either told him or something how to get there because he knew exactly where he was going. He wasn't looking around. So somebody either had to give him the plans or something there. And I don't mean plans. They could have said, well, you do this, this, and this, and you go here. Does that mean the other person knew what he was doing? No. But overall, I just don't believe he did it alone. The way he come off and knew where exactly the low point was to get off the building, yeah, you could have seen that from the outside. But nothing adds up. They say he was walking around, and I seen it, where him limping, kind of limping. Okay, maybe he did have that in there. But I question that for one reason. Look how he's bending his legs going up the stairs. The two don't jive. But somewhere along the line, there is no way he did this on his own. I'm sorry if there's a lot of people out there that'll say, yes, he did. No, I don't buy into that at all. Not even a little bit. Sometimes, here's what you do when you want something like this done. You go after somebody, and I don't mean this in any derogatory fashion at all because this don't work. But a low level minded person, they could have been like, and I don't mean that way it sounds either, by the way. You go in, you find somebody that's distraught, you find somebody mentally not there, and you fill these people like this, and they're all over out there, their heads full of crap, then you go through with it. They are the easiest persons to turn against to do something like this. There's some very, very smart people that do it too, but the most of them, this is the type of people you'd want to do it. Then you look and you go, wouldn't they tell if they got caught? Well, a lot of times it's not getting caught on this earth. That's their last breath on this earth sometimes, like Trump shooter. But what really disturbs me with him is writing on the bullets. Why would you do that? Did you have somebody helping you or telling you this stuff? What to write? You know, things like this is what makes me think there's probably more one involved. There might have only been one up on the roof and nobody else around, but this planning stage, I just don't buy into him. It was one. Because of how you have to get on the roof and all this, and how he knew where to get off the roof. And like I said, you can see it from the outside, but was that really the low point? And I don't think the guy was smart enough to figure some of this out. I mean, he's smart enough to carry it out, but what was put into his head? That's the thing. What was put into this guy's head? And did that do something to make him do it? I'm not saying it did, but there is a very, very good possibility of that. And nobody should think that that possibility don't exist, because it does. And I tell you right now, if you had Cash Patel up there and said it, he would say nothing different than the governor, even though they're probably still looking at things like that and you wouldn't know it. Nor should you know it. They're still doing the forensics and everything else. That has not stopped. But here's what I hate about the whole thing. What I'm saying is an opinion, and that's it. But when you go out there and put this thing down as fact, you have a problem. Don't do that. Let the authorities do that end of it. We all can speculate and we can all have our opinions. That's one thing. But don't interfere and say this and this is happening. You can say this might be happening, and that's okay. But all this goes back to, this is Charlie Kirk's revenge. He's getting people to come together. He's actually getting people to see what's going on and what he's been talking about for a few years now. And some people say, well, he's aligned with Trump. Well, so what? The same people that say that would have defended it against Biden and go, well, that's okay, he's with Biden. But what people don't realize, and this isn't to be political at all, is that he had an opportunity to be part of Trump's administration, but he didn't. You know why? He's an independent guy, independent thinking. And what he out there doing was the best for him to do. Maybe down the road, some people say, well, maybe he would have been president. Maybe he would have. But he is such a thinker and doer. If he would have went into the Trump administration, and by the way, I'm not ashamed to say I voted for Trump, but if he would have went in there, his hands would have been tied. And it's just the way it goes in government. That's exactly what would happen. And I really don't think he wanted that. And once again, stuff like this is where Charlie Kirk's getting his revenge on people. And all them naysayers and all that were laughing and carrying on because he's no longer here, all this stuff is coming back and slapping him in the face. Why? People are seeing it now. People did see it before, but now it's twofold. It's coming out more and more. He is winning. Another thing he's winning on, a lot of people don't realize it. When AOC started getting into the gun deal, and others have too, you're bringing them out in twofold. You'll hear them here and there, but when they all come together, you see what the problem is. I do not own a gun. I grew up around them and I know how to use them, but I 100% don't have a gun. I just don't want one. If I lived in the country or whatever, you bet I would, but where I'm at, I don't want one. Yes, it would be good for protection, but I'm not worried about that. So, and leave some of the politics of this out. You either care about guns or you don't care about guns. Because let's face it, if you had a legitimate reason not for people to have guns, you would also ban cars because cars kill people. But that's not the case. We have that right if you want to do it. Nobody forces you to do it. That's the thing. You don't need if you don't want. See, I'm willing to bet Charlie would say Second Amendment, even if what happened to him, he would still be to this day preaching Second Amendment. And you're bringing out not, I was going to say it a different way, but all these people that are trying to get things control of is pushing them out in the open and people seeing it and seeing why. This is disgusting to me. They brought up controlling pew-pews when they should have been more worried about Charlie Kirk and what is happening and making sure this guy was put behind bars. But for whatever reason, the other was more important. Politicians are some of the bastards in this country we have. Not all of them, but they're there. And they're willing to do anything because of the money. You know what? They're going to get a lot of money for this. And it's sad because this should have nothing to do with anything. But it will bring it out. And once again, it's going to be Charlie Kirk's revenge because he's showing what people are really like. It has nothing to do with left or right or in the center. He's bringing out the evil in people. And people don't see it. They don't see what's happening now because of what happened. Yes, I want Charlie here on earth. Even though he's walking with God now, I wish he was still here showing the younger people especially how to engage They have gotten even older people too, forgetting how to engage with others. The more modern we get, the more we'll engage in anything but talking to each other. It's sad but true. I'm on the computer every day. I use my phone every day. We forget what it's like when you're older and how much more communication you had. And things like this is another reason Charlie Kirk is getting his revenge. People are going to start seeing stuff like this more. People will stand together and realize things that we've taken for granted. A lot of people saying, no, that don't have nothing to do with it. What happened will make people think. They have to go on what they think. But I guarantee you, most people, whether you liked him or not, thinking about what happened and why. Sometimes, even if you hated him of what happened, if you stop and think about it, you will be offended, or the majority of them will be offended because of the actions taken by a fool. Yes, that person is a fool. Nothing he did was godly. Yes, Lucifer's got a new partner, and Lucifer likes partners. But he's definitely got one now. Another one. We have gotten so greedy, we forgot about God. And if you don't believe in God, that's still fine, but it's still the same principle that you have to be a decent person. You're supposed to go out there, whether you believe in God or not, and be this good, sound person. We've forgotten about that. All this stuff does come into perspective as far as all this stuff people are seeing. You see it all over now. You'll still see violence in that, but he has gotten so many people together over something he had no control over. He is getting his revenge. He is getting political revenge. He's just getting revenge on everything because some people don't want you to think for yourself. But you know what? A lot of them's out there doing that now. I do wish he was here, and I'm going to keep repeating that, not where he's at. And believe me, I do believe in God. I'm not a churchgoer or anything like that, but I do believe in God. I am not perfect. Charlie Kirk was more perfect than I'll ever be. His family does not deserve what happened. And no, I'm not saying that's an oxymoron because I wish he was here with his family. That family is more important than anything. But sometimes you got to go with what God wants. And this guy does have his revenge on a whole bunch of people, even people we'll never know about. That's all I had to say. Thank you for everything you have done, Charlie Kirk. You are going to get your revenge, and it has started. Thank you for everything you have done for the people on this earth to get them to think, especially the younger. You figured out how to do it, and we're starting to engage in more ways than one. Thank you, Charlie. Godspeed. God be with you.